Good evening. Welcome to this edition of Northeast Dairy. Here we bring you the latest developments from India's unexplored Northeast region, where the skies are clear blue, the hills are rolling green, and the air is clean and always reverberating with the vibrant energy of its people. The Northeast is an eclectic mix of different cultures and colorful tribes, home to rich flora and fauna, and full of gaiety and joie de vivre. Today we bring you some interesting stories which are sure to touch your heart. From the blissful tea gardens of Assam to the amazing innovations being done by the locals of this region, we have a variety of interesting stories to share. In this edition, we will talk about the laurels being brought up by the youth of the region and how the Northeast region is putting up a brave fight in the times of COVID-19 pandemic. We have an interesting story on organic farming in Sikkim that is conserving the rich biodiversity as well as providing employment to the local youth. Did you know that something as basic as cycling can reap immense health benefits? In our heritage section, we will talk about how Nagaland capital Kohima is creating a cycling-free environment in the city. Now we will go to Manipur, where our correspondent J.J. Thokchom has an interesting story that emerged during COVID pandemic. The story is related to a brilliant student who is in the 9th standard, Baldeep Ningchogam, who developed an Android-based mobile game app named Koroboy, which has become popular in the Google Play Store. With Prime Minister Narendra Modi's push for making toys and video games in India in his latest Mann Ki Baat program, this is a welcome development. Let's hear from our Imphal correspondent how the boy utilized his free time during lockdown in an innovative way.
In Manipur, the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, which has affected more than 6,000 people of the state, never discouraged the people's lives. A 13-year-old boy from Manipur has shown to the world that the closure of school due to the pandemic could not stop the learning of a student. Baldeep Ningchogam from Imphal utilized the free times during the lockdown period on his computer and finally invented an Android game, Koroboy. The theme of the game is coronavirus and lockdown. The game was launched on 21st of August and it has already become one of the most popular games worldwide. Speaking to AIR News, Baldeep said that everyone can explore new ideas and engage in his own fashion while staying at home safely during the COVID-19 pandemic.
I'm Baldeep Ningchogam, currently studying in the 9th standard in Premier English Academy. I'm from Kanchipur, Imphal West District of Manipur. As the schools are closed during the lockdown, my uncle suggested me to make a game related to this pandemic instead of wasting my time. And as game development was new to me, I was a lot interested and started developing one. In the game Koroboy, the boy is stranded and wants to return home. He earns points by collecting the fridge and sanitizer and gets his point deducted when he touches a police or a virus. This game was developed in Unity and Blender, and the programming was done in C#. And to my fellow students, I would like to ask them to utilize their time in a productive way.
The innovative way of this young boy has shown a way to others how to remain positive during lockdown and pandemic. This is J.J. Thokchom for Northeast Diaries from AIR News Imphal.
Organic farming is driving rural development in Sikkim. In terms of agricultural practices, Northeast India has traditionally been organic and consumption of chemicals is far less than the rest of the country. Our correspondent Saikat Sarkar brings us the details of how the tiny Himalayan state of Sikkim is leading organic farming practices in the country.
Sikkim was the country's first state to officially adopt organic farming in 2003 and to convert entirely into organic in 2016. Sisir Khatka, who is also a qualified 3D animation instructor, speaks.
मुझे लगा कि कृषि, बागवानी और पशुपालन में थोड़ा सा काम किया जाए तो ग्रामीण स्तर की कुछ आर्थिक उन्नति हो सकती है। सिक्किम सरकार जैविक अभियान पर काम कर रही थी, तो हमने भी निस्वार्थ इस अभियान को सहयोग किया। किसान समूह, विद्यार्थी, किसान और सिक्किम के जनमानस को जैविक अभियान की महत्व बारे जागरूक किया। फिर सारा सिक्किम वासी ने इसे सकारात्मक रूप से लिया तो 2016 में माननीय प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने सिक्किम को पूर्ण रूप से जैविक राज्य घोषित कर दिए। हमने वैल्यू एडिशन के ऊपर काम करना शुरू किया। सुंदर सिक्किम जैविक सिक्किम के नाम से एक ब्रांड खड़ा किया, जिससे हम सिक्किम के सभी उत्पादनों को वैल्यू एडिशन करते हैं और किसान को उचित मूल्य जैविक उत्पादनों का मिलता है। इससे यही समझ में आता है कि पूरी भारत में जैविक अभियान किया जाए तो भारत अपनी जैविक उत्पादनों को विश्व में बेचकर पूर्ण रूप से आत्मनिर्भर राष्ट्र बन सकता है। सारी दुनिया जैविक उत्पादनों का कोई भी मूल्य चुकाने के लिए तैयार है। उत्तर पूर्व की छोटी सी राज्य सिक्किम की तरह समुचित भारत ने अगर जैविक खेती को मन बना लिया तो पूरी दुनिया में भारत सबसे ज्यादा जैविक उत्पादन करने वाला बड़ा राष्ट्र बन सकता है।
During the COVID-19 pandemic, increased organic farm output from within Sikkim has also resulted in lower reliance on imports from neighboring states, resulting in higher income for farmers and making the state more self-reliant. With Diliram Dulal, this is Saikat Sarkar for Northeast Diary for AIN News Sikkim.
In the war against COVID-19 pandemic, doctors and medical staff have remained at the forefront of the fight, and many doctors have sacrificed their lives while treating and saving the life of positive patients. In fact, the doctors and medical staff are at the most risk to contract the virus as they directly come in contact with patients. In Tripura, to extend a big help to the doctors attending the infected patients, a scientist at Tripura University has designed a robot which can prevent the doctors, nurses and health staff from getting infected while they come in contact with patients infected with the virus. The robot is named as COVID-19 Warbot. Here is a report from our Agartala correspondent, Reena Nongmaithim.
The robot Warbot can take care of the coronavirus patient from a 15 to 20 meter distance. The remote control robot can carry 10 to 15 kilograms of materials. It can deliver food, medicines and other essentials to COVID-19 patients. 32 years old Harjit Nath, who is an assistant professor at the Chemical and Polymer Engineering Department of the Tripura University, has developed this robot, and it is now in service at the Tripura Medical College and Hospital at Agartala. Talking to AIR News, Dr. Harjit said that the robot is regulated by a transmitter and a receiver. It can work for 90 minutes after the battery is given 5-hour charge. Dr. Harjit said,
So I had to spend around 25,000 rupees from my pocket in order to make the device, and it was entirely built during this lockdown period. It was built with all those things which was available locally. The robot itself is around 8 to 9 kilograms, so more 15 to 20 kilograms it can carry. And this robot can be easily controlled by using a remote control, which is 3.4 gigahertz based radio control device. So by that one can sit at a very safe place of around 15 to 20 meters away, and he or she can move this robot to the patient, and this robot can easily carry food packets, water bottles and all other stuffs to the patients whenever it is needed. So the doctor don't have to wear the PPE kit. The same job will be done by the robot, and one just have to control it.
The doctor said that the robot also has a Wi-Fi controlled smart camera inbuilt with a microphone and a speaker, through which patients can have one-to-one communication with doctors on the other side sitting with a laptop or carrying a smartphone. And doctors can also have a live view of the patients. This is Reena Nongmaithim, AIR News, Agartala.
In Arunachal Pradesh, the Northeastern Region Community Resource Management Project is playing a very important role in making people self-reliant. Under the project, various initiatives have been started to improve the livelihoods of vulnerable groups in a sustainable manner through improved management of their resource base in a way that contributes to preservation and restoration of the environment. Our Itanagar correspondent Rakesh Dole has filed this report.
The Northeastern Region Community Resource Management Project, NARCOM, in Arunachal Pradesh has paved a way for sustainable livelihood for many people. The Eastern Arunachal is known for spices production, but due to lack of processing units, the growers here have always lacked a market for their spices. In order to solve this problem, NARCOM has recently procured 13 solar drying units for drying of spices crops produced by small growers in Tirap and Longning districts. These units will be used for drying large cardamom, ginger, turmeric, king chili, tea leaves and other horticulture crops. Each unit has a capacity of processing 60 kg of spices each day. Tirap District Deputy Commissioner Bhanu Prabha, who is also the chairperson of Narkamp in Tirap and Longding districts, has informed that MS Raheja Solar Food Processing Private Limited in Indore, Madhya Pradesh, will initially procure only large cardamom from the growers of the 13 project villages of Narkamp, where the solar dryers have been distributed as a pilot project to market the large cardamom. And if the marketing initiative is successful, it will be taken up in other project villages of Tirap and Longding district. According to Narkamp, the large cardamom production was approximately 138,990 kilograms in Tirap and Longding districts alone last year. The objective behind distribution of solar dryers is to fetch good market value of the large cardamom and other spices grown by the farmers in Tirap and Longding district. For Northeast Diary, this is Rakesh Dole, Itanagar.
An IAS couple in Mizoram has transformed the nutritional and education spheres into districts. Our Aizal correspondent Irene has filed this report.
2 IAS officers have brought in an enormous change and improvement in children's nutritional and educational sphere in Mizoram. While 2 IAS officers were working in 2 remote districts, both of them separately adopted participatory and convergent ways for making the project successful. The project, Our Children, Our Future, is an innovative project being implemented in the Southern District, Siaha. Posted as the Deputy Commissioner of the district, Bhupesh Chaudhary initiated the project when he found that there is no library in any schools. So firstly, book libraries have been set up in schools and later sports materials were provided. Gradually came up smart classrooms with the help of CSR and convergence of MG NREGA funds. Talking to AIR News, Mr. Chaudhary said that the cloud-based app EduFix is now in operation. On this app, recorded lectures of the best teachers in mathematics, science and English in Mizo language have been hosted. Mr. Chaudhary said,
What we tried to handle through this program was the digital classrooms, smart classrooms and learning and the latest content to be provided through the mobile apps to the students, and provision of libraries so that students inculcate some extra reading habit from outside the course. And it also has an important component, which is the mentorship. So it is very important for us to find the local heroes who were successful, and they were assigned 2 or 3 schools to visit those schools every month and have informal interaction with the students, with the teachers, with their parents, to understand what is the problem. And these mentors who we have finalized, they also act as a kind of interface between the administration and the school.
In another southern district, Longklai, cooked food was not being served to the children at the Anganwadi centers and primary schools because vegetables were very expensive. Then the Deputy Commissioner, Shashanka Allah, stepped in to a new project, My School, My Farm, to serve vegetables and fruits grown in the compound of the schools. Mrs. Shashanka had firstly grown a farm at her residence and then encouraged Anganwadi centers and primary schools of the district to grow farms. Sharing her thoughts, Mrs. Shashanka said,
So this project, Kan School Kan Huan, My School My Farm, is an initiative of the District Administration Longklai, Mizoram. This is under Poshan Abhiyan to address the dietary and nutritional needs of children. In this project, we have made nutrition gardens in all schools, Anganwadis and childcare centers so that the children can benefit from fresh, organic, free vegetables and fruit which are introduced in their midday meal, and by this we have reduced malnutrition and stunting by more than 50% in 1 year of its implementation.
Mizoram government has recently honored sports IAS officers with the Chief Minister's Award in Public Administration for their innovative and transformative projects on the occasion of Independence Day celebration. The couple, Bhupesh Chaudhary and Shashanka Allah, are presently posted as the Additional Secretary of the State Government. Mrs. Shashanka is the Additional Secretary of Labour, Employment, Skill Development and Entrepreneurship,
while Mr. Chaudhary is the Additional Secretary of ICT Department. Irene for Northeast Diary from AIR News, Aizawl.
The credit for the rapid development of the Northeast in recent times goes to the movers and shakers who are doing their utmost for the upliftment of the region. One such personality is Assam Chief Minister Sarbanand Sonowal. Our Guwahati correspondent Manas Pratim Sharma interviewed Mr. Sonowal about the development works underway in Assam.
Good evening, sir. Good evening to all the listeners of Northeast Diary. This evening, we are joined by Assam Chief Minister Sri Sarbanand Sonowal. Sir, welcome to our show. First, let me ask you, what changes that have come to Assam during last 5 years?
Today, Assam is in the midst of great transformation. Due to unparalleled political will of Honorable Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi ji, Assam and the Northeast are experiencing rapid changes. The special thrust being given by the central government on boosting the connectivity infrastructure of the region is giving a major push to the northeastern region to emerge as this sunrise area of the Indian economy. Doubling and electrification of the train line which took off after mass deterring. Uran scheme for civil aviation connectivity within the region and outside. Emphasis on early completions of the trilateral ASEAN highways. Boost on water transportation through dredging of Brahmaputra and getting the IT connectivity from the international IT gateway from Bangladesh are just a few initiatives which gives the region huge strength. The central government during last 5 years expanded the national highway in Assam from 3,800 kilometers to 7,000 kilometers. Guwahati is already emerging as a major aviation hub with a new state-of-art terminal coming up at Lokpriya Gopinath Bordole International Airport. As a result of the Honorable Prime Minister's unstinted commitment towards the region, many long neglected and long pending development works became a reality. India's longest Dhola Sadia Bridge, country's longest rail-cum road Bogibeel Bridge, the new Saraighat Bridge are few of the several such examples. Due to central government initiative, Indo-Bangladesh border sealing activities has reached a great momentum. The government has introduced smart technology to seal the border at the riverine areas. The sealing of the entire stretch of remaining parts of the porous border is expected to complete soon, and this once for all will stop illegal migration from Bangladesh. The peaceful environment that set in Assam today is another milestone achievement of the government. Almost all insurgent outfits have either laid down arms or are in the process of dialogue today. In the month of January this year, a tripartite agreement was signed between the Government of India, Government of Assam and the Boru insurgency outfits, which pave for lasting peace in the BTAD areas of the state. The central government steps against insurgency is not only bringing peace but also leading to economic growth of the region. Today, the northeastern region is emerging as the sunrise area of the Indian economy. The active policy enunciated by Honorable Prime Minister gives a major push to position Assam as the gateway and the expressway to ASEAN and Southeast Asia, from which we can service not only the region but also population of 800 million.
Right, sir. Sir, how does Prime Minister Narendra Modi's works, his commitment, he has given a new direction for the development of Assam and as a whole to the Northeast?
Well, Honorable Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi ji wants to transform the northeastern region as the new engine of India's growth. He termed the eighth state of the region as Ashtalasmi. In the history of independent India, Honorable Narendra Modi ji is the only Prime Minister who has made more than 30 visits to the Northeast during last 5 years. In order to address regional growth imbalances, he has taken the central government to the doorstep of the Northeast India with number of development projects. As per his direction, one or the other Union Minister travelled to Northeast every fortnight to take stock of progress of development scheme. The list of development initiative of the central government is long and unending. Among some major initiatives, the central government has taken up construction of new terminal at LGBI Airport, AIIMS at Sansari in Guwahati, and Indian Council of Agricultural Research at Gogamukh in Dhemaji district. The central government has met budget provision for improvement of 890 km Dhubri-Sadia river connectivity, the completion of which will boost economic activity through the waterways. The government has also approved construction of 19 km long 4-lane bridge over river Brahmaputra between Dhubri on north bank and Fulbari on south bank in the state of Assam and Meghalaya, with total capital cost of rupees 4,997 crores. Besides, 5 more bridges over river Brahmaputra have been sanctioned. The central government has already taken step for augmentations of production capacity of Numaligarh Refinery Limited from 3 million ton up to 9 million ton with an expenditure of rupees 23,000 crores. Besides, a biofuel plant is also coming up at Numaligarh Refinery Limited with a cost of around 1,300 crores, which will be a significant value addition to this refinery. The committed efforts of the central government gives development and emphatic boost to the Northeast, promoting emotional integrations of the people with mainland India.
And sir, what are the areas or challenges, sir, do you think that the government of Assam need to concentrate for further development?
Well, to answer this question, first of all, I must say that Assam is a land of enormous potential and possibilities. But the irony is that the abundant resources of the state were not properly identified and utilized earlier. As a result, Assam became a state dependent of grant and subsidies of the central government. Similarly, there was a perception towards the state and the region as an area alien to the mainland India. This created an emotional divide. Therefore, after assuming power, we focused to address these two challenges and adopted a holistic approach in synchronous with the initiative of the central government. Our endeavors have brought visible changes. Today, nationalism has become more vivid and people feel more connected. As you know, flood and erosion is a recurring problem of Assam. Every year, flood waters of Brahmaputra inundate huge tract of land and destroy crops and household properties. However, I must appreciate the fact that in the last 70 years of India's independence, it is for the first time that the central government, led by Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, has taken sincere effort to address the flood and erosion problem of Assam. Honorable Modi ji has already constituted a high-level committees under the chairmanship of Niti Aayog Vice Chairman to study the flood and erosion problem of Assam and come up with recommendation. The Aayog has recommended for setting up of Northeast Water Management Authority for adopting a holistic approach. Similarly, the 15th Finance Commission, as per our request, has recommended to consider erosion as a national calamity and suggested the central government for funding this step taken by the state government for tackling erosion. I believe that such initiative will lead to permanent solution of the flood and erosion problem of the state of Assam. Updating an NRC with inclusion of names of all genuine Indian citizens and deleting the names of all illegal migrants is an issue which is being sincerely worked upon. We have already made an appeal at the Honorable Supreme Court for granting permission for a re-verification. Once permission is granted, it will give a better way for publications of an error-free NRC. You will appreciate the fact that as an agrarian state, there are abundant opportunities in Assam to tap the domestic and international market with our farm product. Already our farmers have shown their abilities, and as a result, fruits and vegetables from Assam are being exported to Dubai, London, Abu Dhabi, etc., etc. We are getting a major focus on promoting agriculture to realize the potential available in this sector. I believe agriculture and its allied sector is the key to build Atmanirbhar Assam, and we are working on it very sincerely.
And sir, finally, since we are here broadcasting the first episode of the Northeast Diary, what's your message to our listeners?
I must very honestly admit the fact that Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji is giving lot of focus to the speedy growth of Northeast. He has termed the region as the new engine of India's growth and the eighth state at Ashtalasmi of the country. In his maiden speech in the Parliament, Honorable Modi ji expressed his vision for transforming Northeast as an organic hub of the country. Due to the Honorable Modi ji's patronage, Assamese Gamusa is a household name in the country today. At International Yoga Day and many other important occasions, Honorable Modi ji is often spotted wrapping the Assamese Gamusa around his neck, which makes every Assamese proud. Similarly, it was the India government led by Honorable Modi ji which addressed the long-pending demand of the people of Assam and conferred the country's highest civilian honor, Bharat Ratna, upon legendary singer Dr. Bhupen Hazarika. Such an honor was not only a recognition to the musical genius of Bhupenda alone, but also a respect shown towards the sentiment of the people of Assam. Further, it was due to remarkable synergy between the central and the state government that Assam has been able to host many international sports events in the last 4 years. Sports events like FIFA Under-17 World Cup, International Cricket Tournament, IBA World Boxing Championship, and very recently the third Khelo India Youth Games were successfully organized by our government. All these developments are giving Assam a platform to showcase its abilities and potentials to emerge as the nerve center of growth of the country. So I have a special appeal to all the North-Easterners through this program. Let us join hands together to promote Northeast. As narrated by our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, we will have to explore the opportunities available in this region, particularly in the sector of natural resources. So I believe if we all join hands together, it will give us a strongest momentum to make the entire Northeast as a very important hub of the economic activities and also business activities, which will definitely not only draw the attention of the nation but also which can pave a way to make Northeast as a very, very important center of business activities and also the other activities of human society in the entire Northeast India. And also, I believe Act East policy is a very important policy for all the North-Easterners to focus ourselves in the entire Southeast Asia. So this should be the vision of all the North-Easterners. I believe everybody will try to put their very important initiative to proceed towards that goal. Thank you. Jai Hind.
You have given us your precious time to all the listeners of Northeast Dairy. Thank you, sir.
The capital of Nagaland, Kohima, through the Kohima Smart City Development Limited, KSCDL, has taken the challenge to create a cycling-friendly environment in its city. Our Kohima correspondent, Asunio, brings you the details.
Drawing the inspiration and the call of Union Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs along with Smart Cities Mission, India Cycles for Change Challenge in response to COVID-19, the Kohima Smart City Development Limited has launched the Kohima Cycles for Change campaign on July 28 to encourage more people into cycling and head towards the path of fitness, balanced growth, personal transport and a cultural shift towards the sports of cycling for a better and greener future. Let's hear it from KSCDL CEO, Mr. Kovi Meyase.
Kohima Smart City, through its strategic action plan, follows the three broad principles to promote cycling in the city. Number 1, aggressive social media campaign. 2, community engagement. And thirdly, implementation of pilot interventions. The Kohima Cycles for Change is a brand with a vision that will live on for years to come because it was born out of passion for cycling. It will continue to carry the torch to make Kohima the cycling capital of the country. Amsterdam did not become the cycling capital of the world in just a matter of 5-6 years. It took them 3 decades to reach to where they are today. It is the lifestyle transformational change which we hope to see in the coming few decades.
That was our correspondent Asunio with the report. Before we end, here are some interesting facts about the Northeast. In Maulinong in Meghalaya is the cleanest village of Asia. And did you know that Arunachal Pradesh is known as the land of the rising sun because this state witnesses the first rays of the sun in India? With that, we have come to the end of this edition of Northeast Diary. Do join us next week to hear more stories from this enchanting part of India. Bye-bye.